Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bookmakers Reviews coverage of the Champions League. We are live. Myself and Matt Lawrence, we are here to preview Tuesday's games and Wednesday's games in match day 5 of the Champions League. Are you excited to be part of the BMR family, Matt?
Absolutely. And I'm especially, excited to talk Champions League with you, Martin. It doesn't really get much better than this. Some really salivating matchups, if you will. I mean, when you're looking at City versus PSG, what's Manchester United going to do after that Watford debacle, Chelsea, Juventus? I mean, there's just so many good ones this week. So I'm really excited.
Me too. Yes, we haven't got. Well, you've got a pick, haven't you, for Villareal, Man United? So we'll get into that first. But we've got the games to the left of the screen. Those are the games that we actually have picks for. We can't cover them all because we'd be here all day. There's loads of Champions League fixtures this week in match day 5. But the games that we don't have picks for, at the very end, we'll do a very quick correct score speed round where we'll give what we think is going to be the correct score, kind of gun to head type stuff, if we really had to, but those aren't going to be our official plays. So we'll just dive straight into it. We're going to get started with Villareal versus Manchester United. These teams very familiar with one another, finished 1-1 when they played in the Europa League final last season. Villareal obviously won on a penalty shootout. Nearly got a result against Man United earlier in this competition, but a last gasp winner from Cristiano Ronaldo handed Man United a 2-1 win. Things have gone from bad to worse for Man United since then. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked yesterday, so it's the start of a brave new era for Man United. How do you think they're going to fare in this game, Matt? How does that factor into your handicapping?
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, it's one of those where I DM'd you immediately after the Manchester United Watford match, just to try and see if I can squeeze some value, and I was able to beat the markets on it just because of the Solskjaer sacking, of just how they've been playing in general. I mean, there's a lot of cause for concern right now in Manchester, and it doesn't look like they have anyone appointed to do the job for Tuesday. So there isn't really that new manager bounce that we're all hoping for. I mean, maybe it's Zidane. There's a couple others that are being mentioned, like Brendan Rodgers and whatnot, but it doesn't sound like they're going to be ready for Tuesday. So there is no, managerial balance. And now they have to travel on the road to Spain. And I think that Villareal will remember what happened at Old Trafford, and they really should have had all 3 points in the bag. And it was just the Cristiano Ronaldo show, which it's been multiple times this season. So you can never count out the Red Devils when you have Ronaldo, because he just pops up in the box at the right times and he's as clinical as ever. So, but it was pretty simple for me here. Right when that Watford match finished up, I messaged you and I said Villareal plus a quarter of a goal at home. That was at -115. Now that has moved to -135, and I like the overs. I like any match really with United's back line right now and how porous it is, and they can still have, they're very top heavy. They've got clinical forwards, and so yeah, I like the over 2.5 goals. So I like the underdog, and I like the game to go over the goal line.
Great, thanks, Matt. I like that too. Villareal do seem to save all of their most entertaining performances for the Champions League. They've been involved in a lot of high-scoring games, whereas in La Liga, it's the complete opposite. They draw loads of games, play very drab football, and often grind out low-scoring wins and draws. But yeah, they've been involved in a lot of thrillers in the Champions League. I'm not too sure about the outrights. Guns ahead, I'd probably have to go for the draw. I think your plus 0.25 for Villareal looks good. Also thinking maybe both teams to score. Quite like Ronaldo, to be honest. Ronaldo to score at plus 130. He scored in all of Man United's Champions League games so far this season, 5 goals in 4 matches. So at plus 130, I like that a lot. Quick hello to Jojo Mofo. Hello, Jojo Mofo. Aloha to Ashley. I was just looking it up. I believe it's 5 a.m. in Hawaii right now. So Thank you for your dedication, Ashley, and hello to Rohit. Great to see you. Great to have you all here. Right, next up, we have Chelsea versus Juventus. Now, this is another big game between two, genuine European heavyweights. Chelsea suffered a shock defeat to Juventus in Turin at the end of September. N'Golo Kante missed that game. He tested positive for COVID-19, so I think that was a blow for them. They still dominated the game. I think they had like 74% of the possession, loads of shots on goal, but they couldn't find a breakthrough. And Juventus hit them on the break, on the counter-attack, and scored with their only shot on target. So that was disappointing. They're now 3 points clear of Chelsea at the top of the group. I'm just thinking that maybe Chelsea can gain a measure of revenge when they play at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday, because they've just been in terrific form recently. I don't think you've got anything on this one, have you, Matt? But if you were going to play anything, what would you guess the correct score would be?
I would say probably a 2-0 to Chelsea here. I do agree with you. I think that Chelsea should have revenge out. I mean, they need to top this group too, because if they get second place, they're going to have a really tough round of 16 matchup with maybe someone like Bayern Munich or something like that. They're really going to want to avoid that second place. And I think that Chelsea with Conte in, they should be too strong for Juventus. But I'm actually higher on Juventus than I think the market is a little bit. So that's why I stayed away. But yeah, I do think that Chelsea probably grind out a low scoring victory like they seem to always do.
Indeed, yeah. Joe mentioning that Juventus already qualified, so they're not really up for it. I mean, I don't think either of these teams can be caught, really. They're so far clear of Malmo and Zenit that I don't think anyone's catching them now. But I guess there's the pride at stake, and there's also winning the group you might get a gentler round of 16 draw because you'll play a group runner-up. So it can be worth winning the group, and there's still time for Chelsea to overtake Juventus. Yes, they're still missing their forwards with Lukaku and Werner out, but I can also see a pretty composed performance from Chelsea. If they play to their full potential, I think they win this game. Been a bit underwhelmed with Juventus so far this season. Next up, we have Lille versus Salzburg. 2-1, I believe, to Salzburg when these teams met in Austria earlier in the group stage, sorry. I don't have anything for this one, but Matt, you've selected this as one of your top games for the week.
Yeah, I like goals here. When you're looking at some of these forwards, they're really just on fire. Like Jonathan David, the Canadian, he looks like he is going to get a big money move here in the next calendar year, probably for Lille. He's been striking for Canada. He had I think he had a brace on Friday in the French league. And then when you look at Salzburg, I mean, they're just a team that wants to attack. And Adeyemi is another just like a very young, talented striker that I look at both of them, and I was looking at the anytime goal scoring markets. And if you take both of them, they're both hovering around the plus 180 mark in this one. They're not the favorites, which is surprising to me. But if you were to take and one of them hit, I mean, you make some nice profit on that. So I would keep that in mind. And I just think that both of these teams right now are fairly lethal in front of net, and they both really want to go for it. The Salzburg style is just let's go all in. And I think it leads to overs in matches. So yeah, over 2.5 goals for me. Both teams probably find the back of the net as well, but maybe don't complicate this one. Just take an over 2.5. I'm seeing it right now at minus 120. So it looks like a pretty good one to me, though. Fine form right now in front of net for both of these sides.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I like that. Really think Jonathan David's is a quality striker, and love watching Canada at the moment. They're playing Alphonso. You see, they're playing Alphonso Davies really high up the pitch, almost as like a strike partner to David, with Tajon Buchanan down the other side, and Kyle Larin coming on. They've got a lot of firepower. I can see them going to the World Cup and getting a few results.
I can too.
Yeah, good team, good team. Well, good times to be a Canadian fan, anyway. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. If I was playing this, I would go for the artist formerly known as Alex Classic, voting for the score over 2.5 goals. We are going to move on to Malmo, the Swedish champions. Malmo connected to Copenhagen by a bridge in Sweden to Denmark. They're coming up against Zenit St. Petersburg, the Russian champions. Zenit beat Malmo 4-0 when these teams played in Russia earlier in the campaign. They were 2-0 up, Zenit, and then Malmo had a man sent off and they scored two more. It was just an absolute one-sided clash. Obviously, Malmo have lost all four games. Zenit have lost three of their four games, so neither of them are going through. Now, they're not going to overtake Chelsea and Juventus, but you qualify for the Europa League if you finish third, and I think Zenit are going to want to finish above Malmo. So I am very much in the Zenit camp for this one after the nature of their win when these teams last met. And I'm surprised to see the odds. It's close to even money. I've got like minus 105 on Zenit. Some sportsbooks even offering better than that. You didn't have this in your plays, Matt, but would you be leaning towards Zenit, or was this just a straight pass for you?
I would definitely be leaning towards Zenit. I looked at this match pretty hard. I noticed the 4-0 in the reverse fixture, and yeah, just something about Zenit. They're not one of the strongest teams in Europe by any means, so I just kind of passed it. But I would be 100% in agreement with you. I think the price looks pretty good, anywhere around even money on the away side here to sew up European qualification and for the Europa League in 2022. It looks good to me.
Splendid. Oh, good. I'm glad we're singing from the same hymn sheet on that one. Okay, next up we have Young Boys, our former colleague Flash's favourite team, coming up against Atalanta. It's a terrible name for a soccer team, Young Boys. But one of our viewers is actually in Bern in Switzerland, and he told me that everyone there just calls them YB, which is EB. So EB are coming up against Atalanta. It finished 1-0 to Atalanta when they last met. Atalanta had key forwards like Josip Ilicic and Luis Muriel missing for that game. So I expect them to do even better now that they've got a couple of key forwards back. They're on a 6-game unbeaten streak in Serie A. It's a bit like the Zenit game for me. Atalanta won at home. I think they can go on the road and win too. Young Boys have lost all 3 games since that lucky win against Man United following Wan-Bissaka's red card. So I'm on the Atalanta win. Once again, Matt, this isn't on your plays, but would you be leaning my way, or what's your thoughts on this one?
No, so this is one that I'm really going to be adding here, I think, to my card. I'm looking at some of the movement on it, and I watched the entire 90 minutes of this first one. I had Atalanta in a parlay, and it was nerve-wracking because they really struggled, but they were dominating YB the entire match. It was one-way traffic. There were a couple of decent counter-attacking opportunities because Young Boys have they have a couple really pacey forwards. But this one, I laid off of it to send it to you just because it's being played on turf, so it's just a little different. So I was just trying to find out what. Who does that really benefit here? Does it benefit YB basically, because they always are playing on this turf, or does it benefit more of a really good passing side like Atalanta, where you can just speed the play up? There's always some weird kind of wonky bounces that happen on turf, and so things just are happening a lot quicker. And I think that should really benefit the away side here. I know that they did struggle at home, but like you mentioned, there were a couple of absentees. And I think with everyone back here and firing, I think that Atalanta should definitely have too much for them. And the market completely agrees with you right now, Martin. It was minus 110 yesterday when I was looking at most sports books. That is up now to minus 135, minus 140. So it's climbing, and it's climbing fast. So this might be one that you want to get in on and definitely shop around for your odds. I think you can still find like a 1.8 on this. And I'm very interested on the away side on this one.
Okay, yeah, definitely then. Get on it sooner rather than later. Yeah, I had minus 110 yesterday. Did an article this morning, and like you say, it was minus 114 this morning. So the odds are going in all the time. I guess if you did want to get a bit more value out of it to still bring it closer to plus money, throw in like an over 1.5 goals, because I don't think this is going to be a low scoring game. I mean, Villarreal came here and won 4-1. I think Man United would have won here comfortably. They were 1-0 up and cruising when Wan-Bissaka was sent off and they ended up losing. But with 10 men on the pitch, you've got to imagine they would have won that. And EB, they're just not in good form. 1, 2, 3, 4 games without a win in all competitions. They're not even doing particularly well in the Swiss league at the moment. So when a quality team like Atalanta turns up, and like you, I think they could actually thrive on this turf pitch. So there you go. I'm on the away win. If you agree, get on it sooner rather than later. Reginald Miller says probably goals. Both teams need to win. Yeah, it should be an open, entertaining game. Great to have you here, Reginald. Great to have you here, Brown Magic. Hello. Ashley says the women's team is also called Young Boys. So imagine that. You play for the women's team and you got to call yourself Young Boys. Let's just call it EB from now on. Hey, great to have you all here. Thank you all for being with us. Means a lot. Okay, next up, we're going to go Atletico Madrid versus AC Milan. I mean, AC Milan, they're pretty much dead and buried, aren't they, Matt? 1 point. It's been a horrible campaign from them. But Atletico Madrid, still very much in with a chance, neck and neck with Porto. Obviously, Liverpool have already clinched the group. Which way are you leaning on this one?
I'm leaning towards the home side here. I think it's a really tough place to go play. And Milan just don't really seem like they're in the best of form right now. I mean, Ibra is still scoring goals, and they have that always with them. And I think that they can score a goal pretty much against anyone in Europe. But the problem is this is just a really, really tough place to go travel. Atletico need the 3 points. They had a nice victory over the weekend in a 1-0, clash in La Liga. And I think that they can take that momentum, and they really need to put in a performance here. I mean, this isn't something that I would be wanting to venture on Atletico Madrid just on a straight money line at all. Like, I would definitely want to be combining the under 4.5 here to get it closer to even money, because I can't trust Atletico at like that minus 150, minus 160 price that they are right now. But I can trust that I believe that this game is going to be tight. It's going to be extremely cagey. Really, it always seems to be at the Wanda. And that's really where I see this match. I think that this is like a 2-0, a 2-1 to Atletico Madrid. I don't see them conceding 2 goals, though, to AC Milan. And I think that they can grab all 3 points and still have a very good opportunity to get out of this group.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I would be definitely leaning towards Atletico, based on what I saw from AC Milan at the weekend. I had AC Milan to beat Fiorentina. How do AC Milan go and concede 4 goals to Fiorentina? That was pretty shocking considering the way they've been playing this season. Brown Magic says just fade all the Italian teams. I mean, I'm certainly fading Juventus. I would be inclined to fade AC Milan. I'm definitely not fading Atalanta, and I don't really fancy fading Inter when they're playing Shakhtar Donetsk at home, to be honest. But you can get very good odds on Shakhtar if you think they get the job done there. We haven't got that on our official plays. We'll do our correct score predictions towards the end. Next up, we have the mighty Liverpool versus the mighty in Portugal team, Porto. Very, very lucky win for Liverpool at the weekend, Matt. I mean, they should have lost that one. That was all one-way traffic, and then they just hit them 4 times on the counter-attack. Robbed. Arsenal got robbed. What? You must be pleased as a Liverpool fan right now. Looks like they're going to have another great season.
Yeah, I mean, they're flying right now, and they look very good over the weekend. And this to me is just it's a simple price play. I mean, I'm basically finding Liverpool here at even money, and the books are pricing this out essentially as that they're going to rest and rotate. And So, I mean, with today and everything, like with all the new sports books and stuff like that, and what's great is, you can make a wager like that. And, if they do heavily rotate and they bring in like a significant amount of teenagers or something, I mean, you can cash out and take maybe a small loss on it or whatnot. But I'm going to bank that Jurgen Klopp is still going to throw together a halfway decent lineup here. I mean, he's not going to just take it easy on anyone. And it's at home. They're still going to want to entertain at Anfield. I mean, that's what Jurgen Klopp's kind of memo is. His motto is let's entertain the people here. And Liverpool just have Porto's number as well. I mean, they have crushed Porto in the last three head-to-heads. I mean, even if they do, rotate, I wouldn't be surprised. We'll probably see like a Minamino, maybe leading the line. Maybe it's Divock Origi if he's back fit and ready. But I just to see Liverpool at even money at home against almost anyone, it's really hard for me to pass up. So, maybe it's going to be Kanate. Maybe Virgil gets a rest. Little things like that. But I think that Liverpool finally have the depth on all fronts to be able to compete. With some of their bench players. So, yeah, I think that this line only goes one way, and I think it would go towards Liverpool's way, and maybe I can grab some value then. If I think that this closes more towards like the minus 130, minus 140 here at home. I mean, this price is just, it's wrong to me.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I'm gonna have to say that I am taking the absolute contrarian view, and I am thinking pass and rotate because rest and rotate. Sorry, because obviously Liverpool just smashed Arsenal. Big game against Southampton next weekend. They want to keep players fit for that. You've currently got Firmino's injured, so why would you want to risk Salah, Jota, or Mane? I wouldn't want to risk any of those three. Couple of injuries in midfield. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain had to play, who's never normally a starter. I guess Jordan Henderson came off the bench, but that might suggest that he's not 100% fit. Keita's out injured, Milner's out injured, Robertson's out injured. I'm just looking at the bench here. Nathaniel Phillips, I've never heard of half of these players. Cade Gordon, I don't even know how you pronounce
the legend of Nate Phillips.
Calvin Keller, that's the goalkeeper. Owen Beck, Tyler Morton, Connor Bradley. I mean, they got kids on the bench. So if you're gonna get key players injured in a game that's an absolute meaningless dead rubber, you need your head examined if you're Jurgen Klopp here. I mean, he could prove me totally wrong. He could play a strong team and they go out. I mean, if Liverpool play their best players, they destroy Porto. Like you said, they always destroy Porto. But I'm banking on a very much weakened Liverpool team full of reserves and youth coming up against the Porto team that are hungry, that need to win. And I just see an away win or perhaps a draw here because they desperately need a win. Liverpool got absolutely nothing to play for, and Porto have actually only lost one game all season. That was that 5-1 defeat to Liverpool. They're 9 wins, 2 draws in the league, 4 points off AC Milan, drew with Atletico in Madrid. So they're a decent team. If give me Porto against Liverpool's youth team, basically. But like you said, you can get out of your bets if you need to. So if it turns out that Liverpool play pretty strong,
I think that you made a great case, Martin, to cash out of that one. Just I do think that Liverpool are still going to field a fairly strong team. I would be surprised if there was like maybe I could see maybe 1 or 2 teenagers, but I mean like Tsimikas is definitely going to start at left back. Kanate, it'd probably be Gomez, Alisson. I don't know if Trent will start at right back. That'll be an interesting selection. But, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I don't expect to see Jota. I don't expect to see maybe one of Mane or Salah, but it's possible that none of them show up. And you're right. I mean, they really do need to be focusing on the league right now and trying to catch Chelsea.
Yeah, you would be kicking yourself if you're in this epic 3-way battle for the Premier League title and you saw Mane or Salah injured. in a game that means nothing when you're already 7 points clear of your closest rival with 2 games to go. So that's my. I'm just hoping that that's what he does. I've got -110 on Porto draw double chance, but I'll be swiftly cancelling that bet if he plays his starting 11. Just think it would be crazy if he did. Okay, final game that we're going to cover is Manchester City versus Paris Saint-Germain. 2 of the richest clubs in the world. Man City knocked PSG out of the Champions League in the semi-finals last season. PSG gained a measure of revenge with a 2-0 win at the Parc des Princes earlier this year. How do you see this game unfolding, Matt?
I think it's going to be just a thriller. I mean, both of these teams, they're trying to top the groups here, and it's going to be. I mean, PSG is starting to find some footing in front of net. Messi scored at the weekend, but PSG, I looked at the stats. I mean, they were outshot in that match. So I mean, PSG are going to, there's going to be a lot of shots probably coming from Man City's direction. In the reverse fixture, Man City actually really, they kind of dominated that match and lost. They had more shots, they had more clear-cut opportunities, and they just didn't take them. I would definitely be leaning towards City here at home to get the full 3 points, but I just see it as PSG are going to give up a lot of shots. Man City are very clinical in general, and I believe that PSG's strength on the counterattack is somewhat of City's weakness, stopping counters like that. So I see it as kind of an up and down match. Both teams should have some good opportunities, and both teams have absolutely clinical forwards in both sides. So I see it as both teams finding the back of the net here and it pushing over the 2.5. But I have a strong lean to Man City here, too. I do think that City are more of a well-oiled, well-drilled machine at the moment. PSG are still kind of a project, and we'll see where they go. I think more towards in 2022. That's where I would be looking towards the best form of PSG, but I still don't think it is right now. So, yeah, I'd be looking. You could get a big price here on both teams to score and Man City to win. But, yeah, I think that BTTS and over 2.5 looks good enough at -110. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there, Matt. I'm on both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. I'm definitely leaning towards Man City. I think they should get the win in this game, but I also am a bit wary of PSG's threat on the counter-attack. I'm also a bit wary of Messi's general record against Guardiola ever since he's played. He was always terrorizing Guardiola's Bayern Munich teams. He always seems to get one over on his old manager. So I can see PSG getting on the score sheet in this one, but I think it'd be very, very unlikely for Man City to draw another blank against PSG. I know De Bruyne is out, but they've got so much creative talent within their squad regardless. I think both teams scoring over 2.5 goals looks like the way forward here. And yeah, maybe Man City to win and over two goals, or Man City and over 1.5 goals to get it closer to +100. Looks great. Glad we're on the same page with that one too. Okay, correct score round. Going to put you on the spot, Matt, but seeing as it's just me and you, I'm going to put myself on the spot as well. Okay, Dynamo Kiev versus Bayern Munich.
Very close to being a 1-0 for me on Bayern Munich. I think it's like a 3-0, 4-0. Somewhere in that range. Kiev haven't scored yet in the group stage. So how do they score against Bayern? I was shocked to see that BTTS was priced at -110 in this.
Okay. I'm gonna go 5-1 to Bayern Munich because they just leak goals. Barcelona versus Benfica.
1-1.
1-1 for me as well. I think Benfica plus on the Asian handicap looks great there. We've done Lille. We've done okay. Sevilla versus Wolfsburg.
Probably. I'll go with a 2-2 here. I think that Wolfsburg just played in a 2-2 match over the weekend. Sevilla at home. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty high scoring.
Okay, I'm going to go 1-1. Okay, next up we have Besiktas versus Ajax.
I think that this is it's a 3-0 to Ajax.
Yeah, this is a horrible one because Ajax already kind of qualified. Besiktas 0 points. Oh, I'll go 2-0 to Ajax. Inter versus Shakhtar.
Haven't these two? I believe that the last 3 times or so that they've played, it's been 0-0
Yeah.
each time. I mean, can you imagine betting the 0-0 and all of those? I'll go against the grain a little bit. I'll say 1-0 Inter.
Yeah, okay. I'll go 2-0 Inter. I think they're getting back to their best going forwards. Okay, what else have we got to do? Club Brugge versus RB Leipzig.
I'm gonna say 2-1 to Bruges in an upset.
2-1 to Bruges in an upset. Okay, I'm gonna go 2-2. Been very underwhelmed with RB Leipzig recently, especially at the weekend against Hoffenheim. Sheriff Tiraspol versus Real Madrid. Can Real Madrid get revenge?
This one almost made my card for that revenge angle. Minus 1.5 looks really good here. I'm going to go 3-0 Real Madrid, even though it's on the road.
Yeah, I think maybe Sheriff Tiraspol have been found out a bit now. I'll go 3-1 Real Madrid. Okay, final one. Sporting up against a Haaland-less Borussia Dortmund.
Still think it's it's a basketball match here. I like goals even with or without Haaland. I think this is 2-2. This is another one that got close to making my card.
Yeah, I will join you there. Go for 2-2 as well. All right, thanks, Matt. Now I'm going to ask the wizard in the control room. We are governed by the wizard. Mr. Wizard, please could you bring up the picks? And myself and Matt will read them out. He's a benevolent wizard. He's a good wizard. He's like Gandalf, not like Sauron. Okay, not like Saruman. Sorry, Saruman. Okay, I'm at the top, so I'll read mine. I'm going to go for Chelsea to win and under 4.5 goals at minus 110. Look there, I got minus 104 on Atalanta and plus 105 on Zenit. Those odds are going in all the time, so get on them sooner rather than later if you agree. Porto draw double chance at minus 110 with the caveat that I'll get out of that bet if Liverpool play a decent team. Final one, yeah, both teams scoring over 2.5 goals. Man City versus PSG at minus 110.
Yep, these are just a lot of these are price plays for me. Villareal, grabbing them right after the Manchester United debacle against Watford. I've gotten some value there, so I'm on Villareal plus a quarter. I think that the game has goals in it. I like what Martin was saying earlier with Ronaldo possibly scoring at plus 130. He's on fire in the Champions League. So, yeah, I think United still get on the score sheet. Over 2.5 looks good there. Both teams to score in over 2.5 in Lille, Salzburg. And if you don't want to complicate it, just the straight over 2.5, it's come down a little bit. It's at minus 120. Liverpool plus 100. Same with with what Martin was saying, the caveat of seeing kind of the lineups. That's probably the one that I would have the least amount of confidence in. Man City, PSG, both teams to score over 2.5, and Atletico and under 4.5 goals in a must-win match against AC Milan.
Ooh, like it, Matt. Thanks very much. Just saw breaking news that Mauricio Pochettino is interested in the Man United job. Could be interesting to see Poch coming back to England. Okay, well, thank you very much, Matt. It's been great to chat through all things Champions League with you on BMR, on Bookmakers Review. And it's great to have everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for your picks that you've been giving, your comments, your support. It's wonderful. We're going to build up a great community here at BMR. So head on over to Bookmakers Review for more analysis and insight. And we will be back. We will be back later this week covering Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, all the good stuff. Until then, we bid you farewell and wish you good luck. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Martin.